Welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into a topic that can absolutely transform the way your business operates, modernizing your packaging supply chain. If you're anywhere near product development, procurement, or brand management, you already know what's at stake here. Packaging isn't just an afterthought, and it's certainly not just a container. It's the final critical handshake with your customer. So today, we're going to break down exactly what a one-stop packaging solution is and how consolidating your suppliers can literally save you massive amounts of time, money, and headaches.
Picture this scenario, because let's be honest, it's the harsh reality for way too many growing brands. Your inbox is just a chaotic mess of overlapping threads. You've got your graphic designer desperately asking for exact dielines. An overseas factory is pinging you at 2 in the morning for urgent color approvals. And meanwhile, a freight forwarder is letting you know a critical shipment is delayed at customs. It's like conducting an orchestra where half the musicians are playing a completely different song in a totally different time zone. And the absolute worst part? When a batch of boxes shows up completely crushed, the music stops, and suddenly every single vendor is pointing fingers at someone else. When your workflow is just a series of disconnected steps like that, your brand absorbs 100% of the risk.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. 1. The fragmented packaging problem. 2. Defining one-stop packaging. 3. Why brands consolidate suppliers. 4. The standard turnkey process. And 5. Avoiding common switching mistakes. Let's get into it.
Section 1. The fragmented packaging problem.
So in a traditional, fragmented supply chain, vendor management is just incredibly high. You might be wrangling 3 to 5 completely different companies just to make one single box. That means managing distinct timelines, contracts, and communication styles for all of them. Because these companies operate in silos, your quality control is entirely reactive. Honestly, you usually only find out about a structural mistake when the final delivery is being unloaded off a pallet at your warehouse. Accountability is practically non-existent because vendors are basically incentivized to blame each other for errors, and your lead times constantly delayed by awkward handoffs. Now, a one-stop solution flips this entirely. You get low vendor management by dealing with just a single dedicated account manager. Quality control becomes proactive. It's happening continuously throughout production. Accountability is absolute, and your lead times become highly predictable because there are 0 external handoffs.
Section 2. Defining one-stop packaging. So what do we actually mean by a one-stop packaging solution? It's a comprehensive service model. It means a single manufacturing partner manages the entire lifecycle of your packaging, from concept to delivery. We're talking the whole shebang, the initial structural engineering, material sourcing, graphic design, all the way through to mass production, quality control, and even global logistics. The crucial shift here is that you stop acting as a stressed-out general contractor juggling a dozen subcontractors. Instead, you hire one partner who operates as a single entity. Just imagine the profound relief for a brand manager when one unified team is entirely responsible for getting the final flawless box right to your warehouse door.
But okay, we really need to clear up some industry buzzwords here because it's genuinely surprising how often middlemen masquerade as turnkey solutions. A true one-stop partner is not a broker. Brokers might coordinate factories for you, sure, but they rarely control the in-house engineering, the actual production standards, or the material risks directly. You get this illusion of control, but really, you're just outsourcing the outsourcing. Furthermore, a one-stop solution is not contract packaging, which is also known as co-packing. Co-packers typically just focus on packing, labeling, or kitting your products into boxes that have already been manufactured somewhere else. A true one-stop partner handles the actual end-to-end creation of the physical packaging itself.
Section 3. Why brands consolidate suppliers.
Consolidating your suppliers drives 3 massive operational upgrades. First up, a single source of accountability. When you use a turnkey provider, the buck stops with them. If a custom insert doesn't fit securely, there's no debate. It's their sole responsibility to fix it immediately. Second, accelerated speed to market. Fragmented chains rely on siloed sequential workflows, waiting for one guy to finish before the next can start. Turnkey solutions use parallel processing. The structural engineers are designing the box while talking directly to the factory floor, so they know exactly what the printing presses can handle. That eliminates the endless back-and-forth revisions that usually delay a launch by weeks. And third, cost efficiency through scale. Consolidating your spending wipes out the invisible taxes of a fragmented chain. You're cutting out multiple vendor markups, ditching intermediate shipping costs between different factories, and drastically reducing the internal administrative hours your team spends just chasing down updates.
Now you might assume that moving to a turnkey, consolidated model like this is a premium, highly expensive service, but check out this surprising fact.
The global packaging supplier Inarino worked with the leading U.S. cannabis brand Steezy, and they managed to reduce Steezy's overall packaging costs by a staggering 20%. And the really fascinating part? They didn't do it by switching to cheaper, lower-quality materials. Not at all.
Here's how Inarino's structural engineering team explained it. We replaced the rigid lid with a sleek paper sleeve and designed a hidden buffer bump. By conducting rigorous testing, we dialed in exact measurements to maintain a high-end friction-fit unboxing. You see, that incredibly satisfying swoosh of a premium box opening isn't magic. It's a very precise math equation. By calculating exact material tolerances, Inarino ensured the sleeve wasn't a millimeter too tight, which would slow down manual assembly, or a millimeter too loose, which would let the product fall out. This brilliant structural re-engineering simplified the whole assembly line, kept the premium feel intact, and drove that 20% cost reduction.
Section 4. The standard turnkey process.
So, how does this actually play out? Well, a mature supplier will guide you through the life of a box using a highly structured 5-step journey. Step 1 is consultation and structural engineering. This is all about the physics of your product, analyzing dimensions, weight, and fragility to build a custom structural dieline from scratch. Step 2 is prototyping and material selection. Before any ink is laid down, you get an unprinted, blank physical canvas in your hands to test the fit and durability in the real world. Step 3 is graphic application and prepress. This is where your brand's gorgeous artwork is meticulously applied to the dieline, and colors are perfectly calibrated for the factory's printing presses. Step 4 is mass production and QC. The printing, cutting, gluing, and rigorous quality control inspections all happen under one roof to ensure consistency. And finally, Step 5 is logistics and fulfillment, handling the freight, the customs, and the final mile to ship those goods directly to your facility. Of course, it is important to know when to actually deploy this heavily structured process. This approach is an absolute must when dealing with high-complexity launches. We're talking custom structures, multiple packaging components that have to align perfectly, complex overseas logistics, tight launch timelines, premium finishes like foil or embossing, or really specific e-commerce shipping protections. However, if you're simply running a standard reorder of a basic corrugated mailer with no structural changes whatsoever, a lighter-touch, standard vendor approach might be all you need.
Section 5. Avoiding common switching mistakes.
Now, if you're evaluating new partners, consider this your insider checklist to weed out the brokers from the true one-stop shops. You need to ask 3 critical questions to protect your supply chain. First, do they have in-house structural engineers? Because if they only have graphic designers, they simply cannot mathematically optimize your packaging for safety and shipping efficiency. Second, can they provide physical prototypes before mass production begins? And third, do they actively handle customs clearance and freight forwarding? If a potential partner cannot confidently answer yes to these questions, they just aren't an end-to-end provider. As you make the transition, please make sure you avoid these 3 massive mistakes. Mistake number 1, skipping the unprinted physical prototype phase. Listen, a gorgeous 3D digital render looks incredible on a monitor, but it does not account for real-world physics and gravity. You absolutely must test a physical sample. Mistake number 2, choosing a partner based solely on unit price. A broker might offer a lower price per individual box, sure, but that unit price is a mirage if their defect rate is 10% and you end up paying a premium to handle logistics yourself. Your total landed cost is going to skyrocket. And mistake number 3, bringing the packaging partner in too late. Finalizing your product and then thinking about the box just weeks before launch is exactly like building a beautiful house and then realizing you forgot to measure for the front door. You'll be forced into using expensive, oversized custom boxes just to meet your deadline. I want to leave you with a really thought-provoking question to reflect on today. Take an honest look at your current workflow and ask yourself, is your packaging supply chain actively building your brand, improving your margins, and accelerating your launch speeds? Or is it just a fragmented mess that's absorbing your time, energy, and resources? Thank you for joining me for this explainer. Start looking closely at your vendors. You might just find your next massive competitive advantage hiding right there in the box.